Chapter 4. Exploring. After Jack's bizarre behavior, I was a little hesitant to go through with my plan to attend the fall festival. But sitting with him in the cafeteria now, it seems as if he has returned to his normal self. We decided not to watch the movie in the media center. It's not a bad movie, but it's one I've already seen. So Jack and I are hanging out in the cafeteria, along with a dozen other 8th grade students. Our chaperone, Ms. Pickerel, sits in a chair that leans against the wall. She nods off every few minutes, catching herself when the chair reaches its tipping point. "Take over for a minute?" asks Jack. He slides his laptop to me, and I put my cell down, glad for the distraction. I've been trying to text Aubrey for the last 15 minutes. I could really use some girl talk, especially after how Chloe and Abigail seem to conspire at the end of science class. But as hard as I try, I can't find the right words to text her. It's hard to believe Aubrey and I used to talk for hours on end about absolutely nothing. "Take over what?" I ask, pocketing my cell. "Acknowledging our fan base," says Jack. Seeing the confusion on my face, he continues, "Just reply to some of the comments, or like some of their posts. I'm getting a soda. Want one?" "Sure, thanks," I say. I scan over the posts, surprised by how many followers we have and how vocal they seem to be. I see that Jack has liked nearly every comment, along with dotting his replies throughout the newsfeed. As I scroll through, I find myself reacting to posts without thoroughly reading them. Jack returns to the table with 2 bottles of Coke and hands me one. "See anything interesting?" "There are so many comments," I say, still clicking through. "It's crazy, isn't it? How many people are on Neutrino's page?" "I'm not surprised," says Jack, "considering how awesome the administrator is." "Yes, I'm sure that's the reason," I say wryly. A single note chimes through the intercom and a voice crackles throughout the cafeteria. "8th graders, please begin making your way to the dorms." I slide the laptop back to Jack and take a sip of my Coke. I remember the plans I'd made for this lock-in, feeling a little disappointed in myself for not exploring the building like I had originally wanted to. That's when the idea comes to me. "Hey, Jack," I whisper. Jack looks at me, then ducks low. He whispers back quite loudly, "Why are we whispering?" "Obviously, I don't want anyone else to hear," I hiss, hitting him playfully on the shoulder. "Listen, I'm going to sneak out a little later." Jack sits up straighter and looks at me. "You?" he asks, raising one eyebrow. "Didn't think you had that in you. Where are you going?" I roll my eyes. I'm not leaving this school. I'm just going to explore the building a little. I wonder why I'm even bringing this up. It would probably have been easier if I had just gone off by myself like I'd planned months ago. But months ago, Jack wasn't a part of my life. And now, I can't imagine doing anything without him. "How bored are you?" asks Jack. "Explore what? There's nothing here to explore." I realized that my infatuation with the school wouldn't make sense to someone who's gone here for 2 years. Feeling a little self-conscious, I decide to let it go. "Never mind," I say. "You're right, there's probably nothing to see." Miss Pickerel walks over to our table and says, "Let's go, you two. Time to report to your dorms." Jack and I follow the crowd out of the cafeteria to the main hall where 2 lines of students are forming. Girls take the first staircase up, and the boys continue walking to the other side of the room, going up a separate flight of stairs to a different wing on the 2nd floor. "Talk tomorrow?" asks Jack. "Tomorrow," I say, as I leave him and go up with the other girls. Stupid. Why on earth did I ask Jack to go exploring with me? Exploring. What was I thinking? I could have kicked myself for sounding so 6th grade. But when I glimpse the old-fashioned keys in each one of the keyholes of the bedroom doors, I am again intrigued by the mysteries that must be hidden in this old building. I know then, childish or not, that I will go out later and explore. This decision brings a big smile to my face. Mr. Jackson had carried up our bags earlier, and I find mine sitting outside of the last door on the hall. It's right beside a large window that looks out onto the courtyard. I peer out of the window, and I'm taken by how different it feels, seeing the courtyard from a bird's eye view and in the pitch black of night. I turn the key to my door, remove it from the keyhole, and pick up my bag. The room is about the size of a large walk-in closet. There's a student desk beside the door, one twin bed, and one nightstand. Since my bedroom is on the end of the hallway, I have a corner room with 2 windows, one on the same wall as the window outside of my door that looks out over the courtyard. The other window offers a view of the back of the school grounds and the outbuildings that have long ago been shuttered away. I hear voices in the hallway, laughing as they make their way to the communal bathroom across from my room. I decide to wait until the crowd dies down before going to brush my teeth. I set my bag on the bed and offer a silent thanks to the alumni who had donated mattresses for all of the dormitories. I unroll my sleeping bag over the bed, thinking how uncomfortable it would be if I had to sleep on the hardwood floors. It's so quiet in my room that I jump when my cell buzzes. "Are you coming?" It's Jack. I sit on the edge of the bed and tap a response. "Where?" "Exploring. I'm downstairs, behind the stage." "How did you get down there?" I ask. "Back door, in the boys' bathroom. Looks like a closet, but it leads to a staircase. Probably the same thing in your dorm." I stare out of my window into the darkness. I like the night because I've always thought it was full of secrets. Knowing Jack has found one inside this old building gives me a thrill of excitement. I can hear the horde of girls returning to their bedrooms, doors clicking shut all the way down the line. Another text from Jack. "Well?" I can't help but smile. "Be right down." I crack the door of my room and peer into the hallway, relieved to find it empty. I close the door behind me, lock it, and pocket the key. I'm barely breathing as I tiptoe to the bathroom and step inside. Thankfully, no one's here but me. The bathroom is huge compared to my dorm room. There are 3 sinks with large oval mirrors that have webs of yellow around their edges. 6 shower stalls are in a small hallway on my right, a private toilet cubicle opposite each shower. Glancing to the left, I see rows and rows of tall white cabinets. I open the first couple of cabinet doors and find empty shelves that must have been used for towels. I work my way down the short hallway, opening and closing every cabinet door, until I find one that meets Jack's description. This cabinet leads to a hidden staircase. Cool. Using my cell as a flashlight, I go down the first few steps, feeling certain everyone can hear me sneaking out of the dorm, including my parents, who are at home at least 20 blocks away. I reach back and pull the door closed behind me, feeling a little nervous when the click resounds in the darkness. When I finally make it to the bottom of the steps, I push against another door, but it doesn't give. I try again, and this time the door flies open. I tumble out right into Jack's arms. "Are you okay?" he asks, steadying me on my feet. "Yeah, sorry about that. The door's a little sticky." I step away from Jack and try to get my bearings. We're about 3 feet lower than the floor of the stage and completely hidden by a tall black curtain. I look past Jack and see an open door to what must be the stairs to the boys' dorm. "When I found the stairs, I realized you were right," says Jack. "There's more to this place than I ever thought there was." "So, where to?" he asks. Now that I have the opportunity and a partner in crime, so to speak, I suddenly have no idea what I want to do. "Did you find any other doors back here?" I ask. "Not regular ones, but check this out." I follow Jack past the stairs to the boys' dorm, where he points to a square-shaped outline in the floor. "Trap door," he says. Something about going underground in the dark in a building that's probably home to more than a few ghosts, yes, I do believe they exist, and all of this on Halloween, causes me to question what the heck I'm doing. "Had enough exploring?" asks Jack. I want to slap that smug look off his face, but I do owe him for catching me when I fell through the door. I push Jack aside, bend down, and grab the handle of the trap door. I'm pulling as hard as I can, but I can't lift it. When Jack starts laughing, I rethink that slap. "Let me," says Jack. He steps to the opposite side of the trapdoor, pulls on the handle, and easily opens the door. "You gotta go with the hinges." I feel two things. I feel foolish, but I also feel angry. I know how to open a door, I want to scream. Jack shines his cell down a narrow staircase. "Cool," he says. I glance into what looks like a bottomless pit. I wonder, not so idly, about how many spiders are going to jump onto my shoulders if we go down there. I shine my cell down, and I'm surprised to see the stairway is totally clear of spider webs. This triggers a new worry. "Someone's using this staircase," I say. "Maybe we shouldn't be here." "Come on," says Jack, already going 3 steps down. "This is a school. They have to keep all the areas clean." He turns back to look at me. "Didn't you wonder why the 92-year-old dorm rooms are clean enough for us to sleep in?" He does have a point, but I'm still unsure about going down this black staircase. "This is a historical building. Our school gets money for keeping the place in good shape. There's no reason to be afraid to go down here." Jack turns around and goes further down without waiting for me. Does he think I'll just follow him anywhere? I let out a big sigh when I do exactly that. Maybe it's because our cells provide the only light in this narrow space that it seems to take an eternity to reach the bottom, and when we do, we're met with another closed door. "I'll just open it a crack," says Jack. I nod. Jack pushes the door open, and we both listen for signs of life. Hearing nothing, I follow Jack through, and then we just stand there. Neither one of us prepared for what we see. I'm not sure what I expected. Maybe another dormitory, a root cellar, a workshop of some sort, or maybe dressing rooms for actors when the stage was used for professional plays instead of poorly recited middle school dramas. Any of those things would have made more sense than the room in which Jack and I found ourselves. A leather sofa backs up to the opposite wall. There's a kitchen. It's small, but has a sink, stove, and a white antique refrigerator with a latch for a handle that I believe is still running. A short line of cabinets with glass front doors hang above a gray countertop. The cabinets are filled with plates, cups, pots, and pans. Someone lives here, I say, feeling like a creepy intruder. I'm ready to bolt back up the stairs before we're discovered. I reach out to grab Jack's arm, but he's already crossing to the other side of the room. "There's a bathroom over there," he says, pointing to a short hallway. He begins opening random doors, and I wonder what this thing is with him and closed doors. "Come on, let's go before they get back," I say. "No one lives here," says Jack, peeking into another room. "How do you know that?" Jack motions me closer, and together we walk into a large pantry. Rows of shelves are filled with canned goods, toilet paper, tissue paper, and mounds of blankets in clear plastic bags. The canned goods have labels that seem severely old-fashioned, nothing like the cans I see when I go to the grocery store with my mom. Suddenly, the out-of-date appliances make sense. "It's a shelter," I say. Stacks of newspapers in a bin near the hatch-like door catch my eye. I retrieve a yellowed newspaper from the bin and hold it up for Jack. This one's dated 14th August, 1960. And look at this ad. I point to a black and white photo. It's for a nuclear fallout shelter. "That explains the food and supplies," says Jack. He leaves the pantry and I follow him, still reading the newspaper. It's funny what people think will keep them safe, I say. While I'm thankful the shelter was never used for its intended purpose, I feel a little uncomfortable here. It's kind of like getting all dressed up for a prom date that never shows up. I survey the main room again, looking more closely at the couch. I feel certain the couch has never been used, but yet it has aged to the point that I'm afraid to sit down on it for fear it will collapse. Jack pokes his head through another doorway. "This room's really big. It looks like an old dorm, or what used to be a dorm. And here's another room just like it. There's a bunch of rusted out beds. Now we know where our new mattresses came from. Jack laughs at his joke while I roll my eyes. I guess they built this shelter for the students who lived here back then, I say. Wonder why they left it like this, says Jack. Maybe they thought they'd need it again, I suggest. Jack runs his hand through his hair, looking around the room. I've been going to MIMS for 2 years, and I never once thought there was anything more to this school than bricks and bad plumbing. How did you know there would be other things? I'm not sure how to answer, Jack, because tonight's discovery is more than I ever expected to find. I didn't know, but it's an old building, and I'm just naturally curious, I say. Jack looks at his watch. We'd better get back upstairs before they do the bed check. I nod, then realize I still have the newspaper in my hand. Although no one else seems to know about this place, I feel funny taking anything out of the shelter. I think all of these things have been down here so long they make up some kind of matched set. I wonder what would happen if something was to go missing. I know it's silly, but I feel taking even the newspaper would have some kind of ripple effect that I can't explain. I retrace my steps back to the pantry, return the newspaper to the bin, and quickly catch up to Jack, who's waiting for me by the door. He shuts the door behind us, and I follow him up the stairs that lead us back to the stage. Awkwardness settles over us as we stand in the dark between the dual staircases that lead back to our dorms. I'm reminded of the brief moments I spent in Jack's arms earlier when I came down the stairs and get a funny, weightless sort of feeling. I don't like this weirdness between us, and I hate not knowing what's going to happen next. Jack moves closer, and when he brushes a stray hair from my face, something strange happens inside me. I know it's illogical, but it feels like my heart is running a foot race with the pulse I can hear beating in my ears. Is he going to kiss me? Jack seems to sense my confusion because he backs away, moving closer to the boys' staircase. Well, if there's anything else you want to investigate, let me know, he says, scratching the back of his neck. Will do, I say, relieved the moment has passed. Jack gives me a smile. Talk tomorrow. Tomorrow, I say, turning to head up the stairs. I navigate the steps slowly, trying to avoid the places in the floorboards that caused the loud creaks I remember from going downstairs. I pause at the top, staring at the closed bathroom door, trying hard to remember if I'd shut it earlier. I must have, I think. A faint light traces the outline of the door. This doesn't alarm me because I remember the light being on when I walked out of the bathroom. I lean against the door and listen, straining to hear any sound. Satisfied, I push the door open. The bathroom feels humid and is filled with steam from a recent shower. Crap, someone's in here, I think. I walk briskly to the other side of the room and grab the doorknob, hoping to get out before I'm caught. Having fun? I'm surprised, not only by the question, but by who's asking it. Chloe Mitchell has decided to speak directly to me for the first time since I moved to Miller's Island. I take a deep breath and turn to face her. She's in her pajamas, slippers on her feet. They sound like sandpaper on a rough road when she shuffles past me to the sinks. I'd be careful with that boy if I were you, she says. Chloe uses a washcloth to wipe the mirror over one of the sinks. She clears off a large oval-shaped section and glances at me through the mirror. Chloe unscrews a small bottle and holds a cotton ball over the opening as she turns the bottle upside down. She leans closer to the mirror and uses the cotton ball to remove smudges of makeup from under her eyes. I'm still in shock that she's actually spoken to me, but then I feel anger build inside me. I can't fathom why this girl would think my business is any of hers. I have no idea what you're talking about. I turn to walk away from her, but I stop in my tracks when she speaks again. Boone, says Chloe, turning to look at me. That is who you were with, isn't it? If not, he's going to be upset. She smirks and turns back to the mirror. She opens a small jar and using her fingers scoops out white cream that she smears all over her face. What about him? I ask impatiently. I'd just be careful, says Chloe. She stares at me in the mirror. Oops, guess I'm too late. Judging by the look on your face, he's already gotten a hold of you. Chloe puts on a falsely puzzled face. Let me guess. He sucked you in with his nerdy ways. If there's some point to this conversation, get to it, I say. Chloe pulls on the pink band holding her red hair away from her face and shakes her hair free. She musses her hair with her fingers, then turns to give me a cold stare. You may be the new girl on Miller's Island, but you're not the first girl Boone's ever had a crush on. Trust me. He's intense, but he moves on quickly. So, like I said, I'd be careful. Chloe gathers her things, then walks past me, gliding through the door without another word. I'm sitting on my bed, with no memory as to how I got there, mulling over what Chloe said, and suddenly, everything makes sense. The reason why Chloe hates me so much is because she has, or at least had, feelings for Boone. Even though I'm sure she only said those things to be hateful, I can't get her last words out of my mind. He's intense, but he moves on quickly. And now I feel like a complete fool. Jack's not interested in being my friend or anything else. I'm just another girl in a long line of girls. I think about those few moments when we got back to the stage, and I'm glad nothing happened. I'm glad Jack didn't try to kiss me. I'm glad I didn't have to decide if I would let him. I blot away tears that sting my eyes. There's something that really bugs me about myself. The way I cry when I get angry. I rise from the bed and grab my bag, thankful I hadn't taken the time to unpack. I quickly roll up my sleeping bag and yank the stretchy string back over the bag, securing it. My cell buzzes. It's Jack. You back okay? Why do you care? I reply. It seems like 5 whole minutes pass in complete silence. Maybe he knows he's been busted. Jack finally responds with, I'm coming up. No way I'll be here if he does. I grab my things and text my mom to come get me as I go through my bedroom door, stopping momentarily to replace the key in the keyhole. I walk through the hallway, not caring if anyone hears me roaming around after curfew, and head down the stairs to the main hall. I stand at the front door and stare into the parking lot, willing my mom's car to appear. The minutes drag by until I hear footsteps coming down the boys' staircase. I decide I can't wait any longer. I zip up my jacket, shove the door open, and step out into the night. I'm so angry it doesn't even cross my mind that I'm out here alone in the dark. I'm surprised by my bravery, but then realize I have no reason to be anything else. I doubt there's ever been one crime committed in the perfect little town of Miller's Island, with their perfect children, perfectly intelligent, and way too good looking for my own good. Mom's car slows, and I cross in front, turning my face away from the headlights. I roughly wipe away my tears before climbing into the car. And it's not my mom. Hey, sweetie, says my dad. My dad? I don't want to talk to him about any of this, but I'm not getting off so easily. We thought you were looking forward to the lock-in, says Dad. Everything all right? He turns the car around and we head home. It's at that precise moment when I turn most decidedly girly and burst into tears. I feel so stupid, I say. Impossible, says Dad, reaching over to pat me on my shoulder. He gives it a squeeze. You're the most intelligent kid I know. There's no way you could ever know what stupid feels like. Tell me what happened. It's Jack, I say. I thought we were friends, but Chloe said he's friendly to every girl. I look at my dad's profile, in between brief flashes of light from the street lamps, searching his face for an explanation. I'm hoping he can make sense of why I'm so upset. I know it's an unfair expectation, since I don't even know why I'm upset. Dad takes a deep breath and lets it out slowly. First of all, didn't you say Chloe was, some kind of jerk face? He asks. I laugh and nod. So since when do you care what a jerk face has to say? Dad's got a point. I don't usually care what others think about me. Not one bit. This time should be no different, especially since it's Chloe. She's such a non-issue. She's normally not even a blip on my radar. Was she right? About Jack? Asks Dad, his hands tightening on the steering wheel. Did he try anything? What? No, yeesh, Dad. I say, happy the blush on my cheek is hidden in the darkness. Okay, says Dad. How about this? Did Jack do something without knowing he did? Sometimes boys are muddle-headed idiots. I know from personal experience because I was that way when I met your mom. I look at my dad and sigh, thinking he's never going to get it. But that's when I realize he's spot on. I shouldn't be mad at Jack. He hasn't done anything. On the other hand, maybe that's why I am so mad at him. Maybe if Jack had kissed me, I'd find it easier to forget about what Chloe had said. And again, I'm wondering why I put so much weight into anything that girl says at all. I feel stupid again, but this time it's for the way I treated Jack. My cell buzzes. Where are you? Dad casts a glance in my direction. I silence my cell and reply, on my way home. I don't know what the female equivalent of a tool is, but Chloe is one, replies Jack. I laugh and feel my dad's posture relax. You saw her? Yes, and she told me what she said. She's wrong, by the way. I think I was wrong too. I'm sorry, I text. No problem. Chloe's from a parallel world, slipped in during a tear in the fabric of time. And because Jack's using nerd speak, I know we're going to be okay. Talk tomorrow? Jack responds, tomorrow.